Hello, and welcome to the episode 113 of the Pixel Street podcast, where each and every week we get together to talk about one of the things we love most, and that's video games. As always, this week at least, I'm your host, Connor Kopp, and I am joined by the enigmatic, yet always tired, John Hanson. John, how are you?
Absolutely. I bet I look really tired right now. I haven't been feeling the greatest over the last week, so hopefully I can keep up some kind of I don't know, pep or something, because I'm not feeling it. But hey, we're talking about video games, so I'm happy.
Hey, it's the only thing that matters in this miserable world we live in, right?
Absolutely.
Well, this week we're going to be talking about Microsoft picking up a little studio named Bethesda. You've probably heard of it. Fall Guys being the stuff of nightmares, and some ex Blizzard personnel who have decided to go off on their own way. But before we get into that, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. First, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street or on Facebook under Pixel Street. Our show goes live every Friday on the podcast platform of your choice, and you can now become a Pixel Street pal by joining our brand new Discord. If you're not in there already, I highly recommend it. It's a great place to be. We're posting pictures of dogs, we're posting memes. It's where we organize our community nights. We would love to have you on there. Also, check out the pinned tweet on our Twitter. It's got the link for that as well as some other good stuff on there. And finally, you can subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Pixel Street Videos, where the video version of this podcast will always be available alongside other unique content you will not find anywhere else from us. So definitely good to check all that stuff out so you can keep up with what we've got going on. And we'd love to hear from you too if you can, speak out in our discords or whatever. Other than that, let's jump into it here. Let's talk some
Let's
video
get
games.
going,
So
man.
yeah, I'm not playing a lot of stuff right now, to be honest. At least video game wise, like I'm
hmm
doing some things, so I'm happy to talk about that. But first, John, I see you're playing a title that I also picked up but haven't had a chance to play yet. What is that?
So I've been playing a bunch of Super Mario 3D All Stars. This is the collection of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy that was recently announced and brought to the Switch. And yeah, I this past it was either Saturday or Sunday. I streamed uh, my entire completion of Super Mario 64. I've talked in the past how Super Mario 64 was my first game I ever played, and it holds a very special place in my heart. Mostly because it's just an amazing game to begin with. So yeah, I got all 120 stars in one sitting. And actually, if you're watching the video version of this podcast, you're actually watching my gameplay from that. So yeah, I went and got all 120 stars and put up a little timer to make sure I was doing it right. And yeah, I ended up getting all stars in, I think it was 8 hours, 14 minutes, and like 56 seconds, something like that. It was a long grind, but man, did I enjoy it. Not quite the time I was hoping for. Going in, I was hoping to get closer to around 6 hours. But hey, I looked up the how long to beat, and most people complete it in 21 and a half hours. So, you know what? Maybe that's not so bad.
Still great. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that you were able to do it in one sitting is very impressive. Did you use a guide for your way through, or did you just kind of do most of that stuff off memory?
I did it off of memory. I've done it
Oh,
before, but just not one in
sure.
one sitting. I
Right.
this game. I mean, I've played it so many times all the way through. I won't say I know it inside and out, but it's pretty close.
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, with just how much time I've put into it. I can't do um, the glitches and everything that like skip through things. Well, I've never even tried, but
Sure.
yeah, playing this game like the way it was meant to be played, I know it pretty damn well. I think I would have gotten close to 6 hours, but there were three levels that really messed me up. The first one was I think it's called Hazy Maze or something. It's the place where you jump in to get the metal cap. For whatever reason,
Yeah. Yep.
I spent so long there trying to get the 100 coin star. And then, of course, Rainbow Ride, which is just always an annoyance because you have to fly on carpets around the area and you can't control it. And uh, I've always hated that level. And then, surprisingly, I guess, Tiny Big Island or something like that. It's the one where there's the two paintings. You go in one and you're a giant on a small island,
Yes,
and then
and
you
then the
jump
other
in the
you're
pipe.
small.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
Doing this all in one setting really nailed down how much I hate that world. I never really recognized it before, but like especially when you're on the smaller island, there are so many ways for you to just take one wrong step and you slide off down
Yeah,
into the
definitely.
abyss. And it,
I always
oh,
remember anytime I would play through the game, that was the section I remember always rolling my eyes at
mm-hmm.
before I started it because I'm like, man, I don't want to do this again
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
So
That was the one. So most of these worlds did. I got all of the stars in one run. That was the one that I was like, okay, I got to come back because I'm just so frustrated. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it's still one of my favorite games of all time. This really nailed home to me, though, even more how much I wanted a remake. I mean,
yeah,
I'm still happy I got this on the Switch, but man, I was really hoping for a remake in the Odyssey engine. Uh, right now, I'm on the Sunshine, and the same thing is kind of going through there. I'm not doing it in one sitting. I'm like, okay, after that, I'm done with that. But
yeah.
playing Sunshine, you really see its flaws and just how that was a rushed game because there's just not many changes. It's still pretty glitchy in areas that it was on the GameCube and everything. So it's like, man, if Nintendo would have just went full out and like remade these games, it would have been so much better. But hey, these are all-time great games, so I'm not gonna complain too much.
They are. The fact, I'm still kind of shocked that all three of these were released together in one collection. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that is not something that Nintendo is very keen on
They haven't
doing
done it
very
since
often.
Super
Like,
Nintendo days.
right, it's been a while. So the fact that we even got these three games back, I think that's already a big ask for
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo. So a remake would kind of put it over the edge. But I agree. I think that obviously these are some of the most popular Mario games of all time, if not some of the best Mario games of all time, and especially 64. I mean, 64 not only was such an incredible Mario game, it was such an incredible platformer, and it really kind of exploded that genre into what it is now. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, fantastic. How do you feel the 3D All Stars kind of holds up? Like, do you think that this collection is an appropriate tribute? Like, I've heard it's got that soundtrack thing where you can like listen to the soundtracks and use like an
Mm-hmm.
MP3 player. Does it seem to be like a lazy collection, or did they really kind of at least make sure it's in solid working condition? Like, have you run into any issues with it at all?
No, the only issues I've run into is just issues with the original games, and I mean,
Just classic.
yeah, it's just these are the original ports of the game. Well, not Mario 64. This port of Mario 64 is it's the like re-edited version that they did for the 64. So this isn't
Sure.
the classic, but like the remake thing that they did. So there's like odd things there. Like this is my first time playing this port of that game, and I'm like, he doesn't say "so long, King Bowser" when he throws Bowser. He just says "bye bye." So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
everybody got to a tiff on that because, like, obviously people thought he said "so long, gay Bowser,"
yeah,
which is not the line if you
no,
go back
it's "so long,
and
King
ask.
Bowser."
Right, but a lot of people were really upset to have seen that
Mm-hmm.
gone. I heard. I wanted to ask you specifically. I heard somebody complaining that some of the like hint boards that like teach you how to do things, that their text was like horribly pixelated because it was a much lower resolution asset,
I don't
and it
know.
was basically unreadable. Did you encounter anything like that?
I don't. I never read any of them, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I guess you wouldn't need them
Yeah.
if you remember where all the stars
Mm-hmm.
are anyway. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. As for like the music stuff, that's cool. It's the same thing that they did with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, except it's the full soundtrack list for all three games, which is awesome. I just want them to bring these to Spotify. Like Nintendo just needs to like start releasing their soundtracks in other places I mean,
Yeah.
it's awesome that they're bringing it on Switch and you can like turn it off to make your Switch like an MP3 player. But if I could just access them on my phone at any time that I wanted, besides like going to like YouTube and finding some fan made collection or something, I just want these games, the soundtracks on Spotify themselves.
Yeah, the idea of using your Switch as a workaround MP3 player is some real like 90s 2000s shit
Very
that
early
I'm just not
2000s.
into.
Yeah.
Like
I think I did it one
conveniences have come
time.
so far.
I think I did it one time for Smash, just like put it
Mm.
down and like did the MP3 thing, but which was cool, and you can like create your own playlist on there and everything. But that just like nails home even more like just put it on Spotify where it's easily accessed by everyone. I don't know.
Well, you know how much Nintendo loves living in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
That's like their thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
no, that's awesome. Yeah, I picked up the collection. I haven't had a chance to touch it. My wife's been playing it, which she has played 64 in the past. She never played Sunshine or Galaxy though, and I've never played Galaxy. So I'm excited to kind of hop
Galaxy's
into
good.
it. We're gonna split a copy between the two of us. I actually, so I was I forget what I was looking at, but I didn't realize that Galaxy came out so long ago. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
like closer to 2010
Mm-mm.
that
That'd
it
be
launched.
Galaxy 2,
Right, right. Which I found out
which is
afterwards,
not in
and
here oddly.
right, which a lot of people were bummed on, and I can certainly, it is a little weird to have like the action platformer Mario collection without what people consider to be one of the best one of those.
Mm-hmm.
So a little strange, but yeah, that's super cool. As far as what I'm playing, again, I'm not doing a whole lot of stuff. I did jump back into Destiny 2 a little bit yesterday. This is a real quick anecdote. They had a developer recently, longtime developer with Bungie, who had passed away some time ago. I don't think it was super recent. And they wanted to pay tribute to him in some way, shape, or form, and they just released like a small little tribute quest in the game, which is pretty cool. It's very quick. It's not difficult to get into. As soon as you launch the game, it kind of gives you this pop up that talks about some things surrounding the person, but obviously within the Destiny mythos, like they made him a character in the Destiny universe,
Mm-hmm.
which is super cool. And your objective is to go find a terminal on Mars somewhere between Annabray and Rasputin, which I did and went into it. It's got some quirky little stuff on it, like there was a no hunters sticker stuck on the computer, and all kinds of other cute little stuff, like a coffee cup. And basically, they set him up as like a old age archaeologist, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just real cool. Again, it's not very quick. Like you go look at that office, you go talk to Anna Bray, and then she gives you the reward, and that's the whole quest. But I just thought it was really cool that Bungie took that time to memorialize one of the pillars of their development team throughout this entire process. And I think he actually, if I remember correctly, he wasn't a Bungie developer. He worked at Vicarious Visions under Activision. So it was kind of their support studio for the time being. So yeah, cool stuff. Shout out to Bungie for taking cool steps to do cool things. I think when you have a game that runs this long and has every intention of running for years to come, seeing little tributes like this and just seeing how they recognize that this game can be more than just a video game is just really cool. I think it's always awesome to see. WoW obviously did it with their tribute to that one streamer
Mm-hmm.
that had passed away. So some cool stuff there. Shout out to Bungie.
Yeah,
Aside
it's
from
always
that,
great seeing stuff like that, especially when it's
mhm.
just people that have passed away, and like even sometimes it's people that don't even have anything to do with the development of the game itself. There was one kid who was a big fan of Overwatch who passed away like the day before it came out, and Blizzard like put in a Heroes Never Die memorial on one of the maps for him. So just like stuff like that is so cool.
Yeah, I love to see that level of interaction with the community too.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a good distance in breaking down the barrier between developer and player. That I think like there's this weird wall that's popped up between the two that's almost mystified the development process. and I think it's also served to combat against developers a little bit, because the community is a little less understanding on, what's happening, and some of the more impatient people or crappy people out there might uh, use that misunderstanding to try and negatively impact companies, or rebuke against them in some way. And yeah, I just love to see it. It's cool. Even though, like, for this developer, a lot of the people surrounding the game, players and stuff, aren't going to necessarily understand what all this means. But for his family, for his friends, for the people that he worked with, like, it's just you can't put a price on it.
No.
It's indispensable. So moving on from there, the only other thing I've been really dabbling with is I've been getting back into Magic the Gathering pretty hardcore. So I have been looking like a crazy person up to way too late hours of the night, just shuffling through cards, like theory crafting decks and stuff, and like just full back into it. And I'm having an absolute blast, man. It's real good. Zendikar Rising, the new set's about to drop here on the 25th when this podcast goes live. So exciting stuff there. I already have my Forsaken Monument pre-ordered and Lotus Cobra. Shout out to my Skewt Swarm. If you know, you know. It's going to get banned, absolutely. So, but yeah, other than that, not much on my plate. I'm hoping to jump into Ghost of Tsushima here soon, as my TV is finally fixed. That debacle's over.
All right.
And I can play my PS4 again. So, anything else that you're gaming on or playing on that you want to talk about, John? Or,
First, I just want to point out that everything you said with Magic the Gathering there is nonsense, and you made all of those words up. Other than that, no, since I haven't been playing, since I haven't been feeling that well lately, I haven't been playing much. I did start playing Kingdom Hearts 2 again, just because it's an easy game for me to lay down and play, since I recently found out that I need glasses, and maybe that's the reason why I can't see things far away from my TV.
That's the reason you didn't read any of the signs in Mario 64.
Absolutely.
Is because you can't read anyway.
But yeah, it's an easy game for me to just lay down and play. So got that going for me. But yeah, it's still Kingdom Hearts 2, and it's a lot of fun, and I enjoy it.
When does that, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, they've got a rhythm game coming out here soon, don't they?
Yeah, November 15th, I want to say. It's like the same day as... It's like the same day as another big game. Is it Call of Duty that comes out that day?
13th is Call of Duty. November
Then
13th.
It might be November 13th. It's like coming out the exact same day as that, where it's like...
That week in November, man, there's like a week and a half period that's going to be absurd.
Oh, yeah.
Like both consoles, Cyberpunk, Call of Duty, Valhalla,
It's a lot.
It's going to be a time. So, well, with that, why don't we shift into the news? Let's change up the gears here and talk some news, as we've had a pretty spicy week and a half or so going on in the news world. So, first and foremost, there was a little bit of an acquisition that happened. John, you want to walk us through this?
Yeah. So we've all been kind of thinking that Microsoft had another decently big announcement on its way. I don't know why, but for some reason it felt like there was something else that they just had not announced yet. And we found out...
brewing.
Yeah, and we found out Monday morning that they had acquired ZeniMax, which includes Bethesda, making games like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Dishonored, Prey. Those are all Xbox properties now. And that is that's pretty freaking crazy if you think about it. Just how much
really is.
Of a shift in properties that is. Yeah, so this is old news by now, so we don't really need to like go over the aspects of like, okay, yeah, they bought them for $7.5 billion, so pretty much Microsoft just said, hey, let's go get lunch, and they bought Bethesda. I want to know, because this has been a point of contention. I got into a bit of an argument on Twitter with someone about this. Do you think that all Bethesda games will become Xbox exclusive? going forward?
You know, it's very tough to say. I think if we were in the um, same industry that we were in 5 years ago, I would probably have a very different answer for you. But things are very different nowadays with their shift to focusing on Game Pass and other services and things. I think that there certainly will be Bethesda exclusives, like for instance. I'm going to say Starfield has some sort of exclusivity, whether it's a year exclusive or permanent exclusive. Like, you don't pay that amount of money without you know getting those types of deals
Mm-hmm.
out of it. Like, this is a massive massive get for Microsoft, and if they don't use it to leverage in some way, shape, or form the Xbox platform, then I think that this deal just didn't make sense in the first place. That said, though, with the success of Game Pass and obviously their focus on Xbox as an ecosystem, rather than a console, I think that it leaves it a little more open. I think that maybe the exclusives won't be as many as we would see from 5 6 years ago or something like that in the industry. But I certainly think there will be a lot of exclusives. You said you got into argument with somebody on Twitter. What was the argument over? What was their stance?
So it was, I think his name's Jez Corden from Windows Central.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he believes that this makes every Bethesda game coming out an Xbox exclusive, where I think this is kind of a Minecraft situation where Minecraft was too big of a game to take away from people on other platforms.
Hmm.
I think this means games like your Fallouts, Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and I've gone back and forth on Doom. I think those games stay coming out on PlayStation at release. My reasoning for this is because of Game Pass. Because how much
Right.
first of all, let's just talk about how Phil Spencer has given Xbox this pro consumer look since he's taken over. How much does that stay true? And he's like, oh, yeah, we own this. Don't worry, PlayStation owners. We got you. You can still play it. Just pay $70 and you get this. But if you do swap over to Xbox, you can get this for free by subscribing to Game Pass. Like, that is
And
such
I
a
think that
win-win.
is the value argument. Absolutely. I heard somebody else say the same thing, where really when they make something exclusive, like obviously there's value in exclusivity, but
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of value for them currently to not have things exclusive.
Yeah.
Like Elder Scrolls specifically, like you said, I mean, let's put it on both systems.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna make $60, whenever we sell one on PlayStation, or we can get people in the Game Pass ecosystem, on Xbox, and be like, yeah, okay, you just paid money for that game, but if you're on the Xbox side, you wouldn't have to pay that money for that
Yeah.
game. Like, you would just get it with the subscription you already have. So, yeah, I think it's a very compelling argument, regardless, and I
Mm-hmm.
absolutely do not see like the majority of games going exclusive. It just
No.
doesn't make sense, like
Phil's
for the things that they're doing.
Phil Spencer has said that it will be in a case by case basis, and
Hmm.
I already had thought, like, I was like, okay, yeah, games like Dishonored and Prey, if those get sequels in the future, or uh, yeah, those games don't make sense to put on other platforms because they don't sell as crazy well as Elder Scrolls, Starfield, and Fallout will. That's why those games will be Xbox exclusive in the future, I think. But the giant games, the iconic Bethesda games are the ones that will still come out everywhere, I think.
Yeah, I think when you look at what the massive properties are, like you said, the ones that jump to mind are Doom, Fallout, Elder Scrolls. I would put Dishonored up there, though Dishonored is obviously not is high profile as some of these other games. It is still a long running franchise at this point that's owned solely by Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
For those games, I think that Microsoft takes some kind of risk. I think that at least one of these high profile titles, if not two of them, will have some form of exclusivity. I think if I was a betting guy, I'd say Doom just goes straight up Xbox exclusive from here on out.
Hmm.
because to me that just makes sense. You know, for the
Absolutely.
longest time, Xbox was the shooter console, and Doom has such an intertangled history with like Windows in general and Microsoft in general that I think it just makes sense. You know, Fallout, I agree. I think it's too big, man. Like
Hmm.
you really run the
Even with
risk of
76,
alienating a
it's too
lot of
big.
people. Right, absolutely. Like 76, for all of its stumbles and issues, like it's still a very popular video game, and I just don't think that they take that bet. Elder Scrolls, I feel the same way about, to be honest. You know, even though it is going to be on PC, and I think that's the important thing. Like, even with exclusivity, all of these games will
Yeah, they're all
absolutely
on
hit
PC.
PC. You know, but for Elder Scrolls, again, I think it's the same thing as Fallout. It's just too big. But for some of these new properties like Starfield, I'm betting, man. I'm saying that it has some form of exclusivity, whether it's timed or pure exclusivity. And if I'm putting my money on one, I think it's pure exclusivity. Because again, you don't pay this kind of money to not get some kind of additional value out of it, and that just makes the Xbox argument even better. Because also, if you say, hey, okay, yes, you can buy your Skyrim, or you can buy your Elder Scrolls, you can buy your Fallout on your PlayStation, but if you really love those Bethesda games, not only can you get them much cheaper, with a subscription, you can also play this new hotness that they've got as well. That's only on the Xbox platform.
Hmm.
Like it's a double whammy of value there that just is an incredibly compelling argument to invest in the Xbox ecosystem at that point. And then that's exactly what they're shooting for with the Series S. Like that's what they want people to do, is think, man, I love my PlayStation, but they're right. I could play all these games, and I could try out this game, and there's a cheaper console that I don't have to commit as much money for. Like it just becomes such an easy transition into that ecosystem for a lot of people at that point, and it's brilliant. It's just fucking brilliant, man.
Yeah. Regardless of where they go, Microsoft is sitting in a very good spot with these. I think if Starfield gets any exclusivity, it's timed. I think, especially with that one, we see something like an Ori situation or Cuphead where it starts out on Xbox and then you see it come to PlayStation later.
Sure.
There's man, there's just so much ways that Microsoft can go, and like none of them are bad for them. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
this is truly unprecedented stuff we're seeing. We've never seen a console maker do a move this big. Like probably the closest move we've seen any video game company make is Activision acquiring Blizzard, but that's like still such a completely different area because I mean Activision doesn't have their own console to develop for. So like I don't
Right.
know, it's so weird, man.
Well, and the thing I was thinking about is like this is the biggest play that they've made to date, as far as acquisitions go. Like you look at the list of other developers they bought, and they bought some great names. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong, but like
Nothing on this level.
Bethesda is even for all of their stumbles and issues over the past couple of years, they are still a titan of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
Todd Howard is one of the most recognizable faces in the entire industry, and for them to say, "Hey, this guy's Team Xbox now," like that alone starts getting people to think about the Xbox platform.
Yeah, we should
You know?
also like mention how big of a deal it is that they kept him. Like he's not walking away or
Yeah,
anything. Like that's such a huge win for them. As much as
yeah,
people
him
hate on
and
Fallout 76, people still love Todd Howard.
right. He's one of the industry golden childs, man. I mean, he just everything he does, people are interested in some way, shape, or form. So uh, super cool. I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I think that the flip side of it is very important to consider too. Like Microsoft is committed to essentially letting Bethesda just continue to be Bethesda and not really step in or take over or do anything differently. Like obviously they will have influence, but they've committed to letting Bethesda be Bethesda. And now Bethesda is a company that not only has a bunch of employees, they have a bunch of sister and brother auxiliary studios that they can tap into if they need to for development of large games. They have infinite resources comparatively. to what they had before in terms of like monetary or financial assets to fund development or do whatever they're looking to do. And for all intents and purposes, this could just point to a better Bethesda at the end of the day.
We have already
So
seen them talk about changing up their engine, like big
yeah,
time.
which is huge. That's something they've been talking about wanting to do for God, near a decade at this point, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
And this allows them to do those types of things. So again, I think that Microsoft value aside, like Bethesda got a lot of value out of this, and as fans, we're going to see better Bethesda products from it. So
I absolutely agree. I want to know
super,
what
super.
is your biggest hope coming out of this?
So it's funny that you say that. I just rolled into a list of dormant Microsoft IPs that
Ooh.
they still own the rights to, because while I think it would be really cool to see, cool Bethesda stuff happen, I would almost love to see some of these studios take cracks at some classic Xbox IPs.
All right.
Bring back some stuff that they haven't been able to touch in a while. And the ones that pop out to me, man, Jade Empire is the first one. BioWare obviously famously did the original, but Microsoft actually owns the rights as they were the publisher for that title. And that could be huge. I mean, single player stories obviously is a place that Bethesda does very, very well. Enclave, original Xbox game, I loved that game. It was like basically Dungeons and Dragons, the video game. It was freaking
Mm-hmm.
sweet, man. That could be real cool. Or Blinks the Time Sweeper, man. Like maybe it's time to bring back Blinks with Bethesda. Like there's a lot of talent in these studios that honestly I think is incredibly versatile and could go anywhere, do anything.
All right. That's awesome. Um, yeah. If out of all this, one thing has to happen for me. There has to be a Halo and Doom crossover at some point. Like,
Man,
just
yeah.
it doesn't even have to be one of their games. Like, I just want to see Master Chief and the Doom Slayer working together in some co-op fashion at some point. I just have to
All
see
I
it.
want to say, man, is we have enough characters for our own Smash game now.
Yeah.
So, uh, you know, Xbox Battle Royale. I'm calling it now.
What was it
Let's
that I
do it.
said the other day? Uh, it was the Sonic and Sega All Stars Tennis thing.
Oh
Master
yeah,
Chief and Xbox All Stars Tennis.
yes. I honestly, I'd buy it.
Yeah,
You know,
me too.
I think that to one last thing to add to this. I think that one of the cool things this does for Microsoft is it gives them recognizable mascots, because like Sony's had that for a long time, and Microsoft has basically only had Master Chief for the
Hmm.
longest time. And this gives them recognizable face value mascots that they can leverage to drive their brand, and that's a super cool thing. 'Cause like Dovahkiin, I mean, Pip Boy or Vault Boy, sorry, all these people are they're Xbox now, which is super weird to say and think about. So,
Hmm.
uh, cool stuff though. Yeah. So with that cool acquisition news, moving into the next one. We have this just in breaking news. The pictures of the insides of the Fall guys. This is horrifying.
Absolutely.
Wow. So they came out on Twitter and said, "Well, you asked for it. This is official lore now." And they said, "Remember, humans shown for scale. Fall Guys are 183 centimeters, so they're 6 feet tall.
Hmm.
That's taller than me. That's scary already." And then they say, "This Fall Guy is happy. Look into his eyes," and that is a lie. Because this thing is disturbing. It almost looks like a turkey or like some kind of
Yeah.
really fucked up bird with a human skull.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then its eyes, they like go down and then forward to the eye sockets. It's so this is not the thing I wanted to see today, to be honest.
It's the stuff of nightmares, man.
Yeah. The
Like,
this is the kind
oh,
of stuff that some modder needs to get on Doom Eternal and turn
Yeah.
turn the demons into Fall Guys. So when you like are tearing them open, you see the actual Fall
These
Guys
bits and
skeleton
parts.
and stuff. Yeah.
Ugh,
It,
I'm already disgusted by this. Yeah, when I jumped on Twitter earlier, I just scrolled across this randomly, and I couldn't scroll fast enough away from this thing. It's bad. So, yeah, let's not talk about that anymore. Next up here, this one's pretty big. This seems to be quite the thing. At least Amazon hopes it will be. John, you want to walk us through this one?
yeah, so Amazon have announced their streaming platform that we've been talking, well, we haven't been talking about it, but people have been talking about for over a year now, I want to say. It is called Luna. And if you really need to know, like, just like getting down into the nitty gritty here, $5.99 a month starting out. You have to subscribe to it. It's gonna have a bunch of games you can play on it, but they're all older games. I didn't see any exclusives. So you got Resident Evil 7, A Plague Tale: Innocence, Yooka-Laylee, Brothers Tale of Two Sons. They also worked out a deal with Ubisoft. Just to keep things short and sweet, this is looking a lot like xCloud, or not xCloud. Sorry,
Stadia.
Stadia. There we go. That's the one I was
Got
looking
you.
for. It looks a lot like Stadia. Really, the only problem with Stadia, I think, is that it doesn't run well. So if Amazon can get it running well, I think they won't have a Stadia problem on their hands. Even though there's
Yeah.
not really anything here that I would say is amazing game wise. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's hard to be excited about anything like this,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you make the Stadia comparison. So, a few other hot points that might be worth mentioning: 4K 60 FPS for select titles is what they're claiming. Introductory price of $5.99 a month during its early access phase,
Yeah, so
which
that means it's gonna go
introductory,
up. It'll
it's
probably
yeah,
be
you're
about
gonna
the.
spend more.
I think it's
Uh,
$9.99 for Stadia.
that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah, either 10 or 15.
so it'll probably be around that range.
There is a controller. They've got their own controller, which honestly, this thing, you cannot tell me this isn't just a Switch Pro controller.
It is
Um,
absolutely with Xbox
it's
placement for their
yeah,
buttons.
right. Yeah, it's man, I don't even like the way it looks. The controller's $50, and yeah, I mean
Which
essentially it's the same thing. It's another Stadia.
it does have
Highlights on
Alexa
this
built
though.
in.
Okay, sure. I will say so. I'm invested into the Alexa ecosystem. Like I have the different speakers and stuff throughout my entire apartment,
Hmm.
as well as like hue lights and other things enabled. So for me, this makes more sense to invest into, especially if it is compatible with a lot of things that I'm doing already. Like I have a show in my kitchen, which is like the screen one, and if I could like step in there with a wireless controller and just play it, and if I could do some of the things that Google promised we could do that we still can't do with Stadia,
Hmm.
then maybe I would be interested in this. The things it has going for it is it does have Twitch integration, which I think you cannot rule out the value of that. Is Twitch is obviously demonstrated time and time again that they cannot be beat in this sector.
Yeah, it definitely helps
Uh,
that Amazon owns them.
Right, and for Amazon being such a big company, like they're one of the only other companies that I could think of that could match anything that Google is capable of putting out. So
Hmm.
we'll see what happens. The thing that worries me is the offerings from Amazon so far, at least their game offerings, have been pretty lackluster. They launched that online shooter Crucible,
Oh,
which
Crucible,
had
man.
such a poor launch that it went back into closed beta
Yeah.
after it launched. So uh, real weird. It doesn't seem like they have any sort of track record to point to them being able to, competently pump stuff out
Hmm.
for this. Um, but that said, I mean, they do have that New World MMO. It's literally called New World.
Hmm.
That's supposed to come out sometime next year. That was in like alpha or something, and some streamers got their hands on it, and the reception of that was really positive, from what I've seen. But time's gonna tell. Either way, I still just don't think that. Uh, I don't think cloud gaming's there, at least as a primary means of gaming. Like something like xCloud is incredibly, interesting because it gives you an additional avenue to play the things that you're already playing elsewhere. But it's not meant to be the main focus. And for these two platforms, Luna and Stadia, again, I just don't think the markets are ready for anything like this.
Yeah, I agree. I was hoping you guys would talk about my xCloud stuff last week, but I've been playing
Oh
xCloud.
yeah,
Um, it it runs great on Wi-Fi. I haven't tried it on cellular yet, but the thing with that is Microsoft was out in front and saying, "Hey, this isn't ready yet" for a long time. Now they're starting to move towards that. Hey, yeah, it's ready, and it's just in the past I've talked about its shortcomings. They are quickly like taking care of all those issues I've had with it. Um, we've all seen Google's problems with Stadia. I don't think Amazon can come out here and pull a Google. They have to, everything that they're promising with this has to be available day one. They can't have the
yes,
latency issues that Stadia has had. Like, they don't have the freedom to move around like, without the games, they don't have the freedom that xCloud has. It's the same thing
yeah,
with Stadia. Like, they don't have the games to keep a a user base together.
certainly, certainly, and I think the other important thing to remember here is, like you said, like they don't get the same benefit of the doubt that Google got for Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
Like Google
Yeah,
already
we've
jumped
already
out; they were
seen
first to
Google
market in this space.
not do well.
Yeah, they've made a bunch of mistakes and stuff, and that's already soured a lot of people on the cloud
Mm-hmm.
gaming stuff in general. So, Amazon better have a hell of a plan lined up for this thing in a very short amount of time. Otherwise, this is just Stadia 2,
Yeah.
you know. So, bit of a bummer. Hopefully it works out. I'd love to see competition in the space,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, my hope is necessarily high on this. So. That said, we're gonna jump into the last big news story we've got here, and this one's a pretty interesting one. So, Mike Morhaime,
I think it's more Haim.
uh, Morhaime. We'll go with that one. Launches Dreamhaven with other Blizzard veterans. This article comes from Joe Juba at Game Informer and reads: Blizzard co-founder Mike Morhaime, who also served as president and CEO, officially left the company last year. Today, he revealed that he is reuniting with many of his Blizzard peers in a new gaming venture, a company called Dreamhaven. According to the announcement, Dreamhaven will create and publish original games for players around the world. To accomplish that goal, the company has established two development studios called Moonshot Games and Secret Door. Both of them are led by an impressive list of industry veterans with extensive experience at Blizzard, including games like World of Warcraft, StarCraft 2, and Hearthstone. You can read more about the staff and each studio's goals in Dreamhaven's announcement. Even though no actual games have been announced yet, this is certainly an exciting development, especially for fans of Blizzard's previous work. Yeah, so another new studio kind of enters the fray. I find this one to be most interesting because there have been a lot of reports recently of longtime Blizzard vets getting very upset with the shift in culture there as Activision continues to kind of almost move Blizzard into being just another part of Activision rather than being Activision Blizzard. It seems like they
Mm-hmm.
have not treated them with a level of care or respect that they had expressed initially, which is frustrating, and I feel for those people. So yeah, if you're excited to see what he's got going on, definitely catch up on what he's got. Unfortunately, no games to announce or anything at this time, or no kinds of teases of what they're doing there. But
Anything they're
uh,
working on has to be very early in development.
certainly, yeah, especially when he just left a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
The founding announcement is now. It's going to be a ways off. But the cool thing is, with a lot of industry vets, and especially Blizzard industry vets, there's a lot of potential here. I think it may be a studio to watch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not sure like what level these games will be coming out at. Like, I want to say these would be like AA games, at least to start. I know these guys, like pretty much everyone involved here, has tons of years of experience and everything, but how much funds do they really have to do something like that? I guess it will come down to what publishing deals. Well, wait, they're going to be self-publishing. So yeah, I don't I
Yeah.
have no idea what to think about this so far. If it could turn out to be that they're the next big thing, they're the next Bethesda, or it could just turn out that they're a very quality AA studio. Like it there's a lot of room for them to move, and I don't know. For me, it's exciting because I mean, we've seen Blizzard's kind of fallen apart the last few years. Uh,
Yeah.
we want to see people like this that pretty much all gamers have had some kind of affinity with. We've loved their games for decades now, so I'm really pulling for them. I hope that they really make something special.
Yeah, I always love to see some kind of new entry into the industry because I think that there's still so much space that's unexplored when it comes to video games. I think there's room for far more than what we have now, and not every experience has to be a AAA experience in order to have value, and I think that's important to remember. So, good on to them. Best of luck, and I think that my takeaway from this is that if things really start kicking up over there and things are going well, him being a co-founder of Blizzard, you could see them start to poach even more talent from Blizzard in the future, and start
Absolutely.
bringing more people over, especially as Blizzard continues to be an environment that people are unhappy with. So, it'll be something to watch for multiple reasons, but again, best of luck. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So,
Same.
that's going to do it for regular news. We're going to jump into quick news now and just flip through a couple things that we thought you needed to know about.
Mm-hmm.
So, first up here, Among Us 2, which was announced a month ago, has been canceled. And instead, Innersloth, the developer, will focus on adding features and content to Among Us 1. John, obviously, we got a chance to play some Among Us with the community. What do you think about this?
I like this move. They said a big reason why they wanted to make a sequel is because the coding in Among Us 1 is so outdated. So for this, they're going to have to actually like go in and rewrite a lot of stuff, but they're planning on bringing everything that was planned for Among Us 2 into Among Us 1, so that's cool. It's just going to take a lot more work for them. It makes sense for me for them to do this because they've already got the game free to play and only $5 on Steam. There's it just makes sense to work with what they got here. This is the game that is blowing up right now. Um, yeah, this move makes sense to me, even though it is gonna cost them a lot more work and everything. And I think development might be a little frustrating at times. At the moment, they're just working on their servers, as I know. They've gotten much better than they were a few weeks ago, even when we played. So yeah, it's great to see them making moves like this. I think this is the right move in the long term. Make this your platform.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that obviously they never saw coming the popularity that this game has just accrued out of nowhere. Like
Mm-hmm.
it really took pop culture by storm, and I think it's absolutely the right call. Don't pump out another title that people have to buy. If you've got a bunch of people playing the current thing you've already got out, add more content to it, update it. It's really going to get your name out there as a developer who cares. And if you decide you want to do a sequel in the future, like, you don't have to not do a sequel. It just means that there's not one coming right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree. It's a smart move. I would love to know how many copies this game has sold um, since
That's such a
release.
hard thing to say because it is free to play on mobile.
Right. That's fair. I guess number of users then would be real interesting, especially versus what they expected. So,
Yeah.
yeah, cool stuff. Marvel Spider-Man. This is a weird one. So, from what I understand, this is a weird web for this game that I haven't looked into very hard. Yeah, pun. John, do you know a little more about this?
All
What
right.
the situation is? Because
So
I can't
Marvel's
seem to keep
Spider-Man.
this
We're
straight.
talking about the original Insomniac Spider-Man game here. It is getting I guess you could call it a remastered version on the PS5, but you can only access that if you buy the PS5 Deluxe version of Miles Morales, which is like an $80 version, I want to say.
Yeah,
If
80
you
or 90.
have the game on your PS4, either on disc or digitally, your save file is not going to transfer over, and you cannot get the upgrade to that. You have to buy the deluxe version. That is the only way to get this upgraded version. And even if you buy that, your save data from the PS4 version is not going to carry over. So you will have to start all over if you want to play through it again, which that's whatever to me, because that's not a game that you really need your save data to carry over.
Right.
Yeah, this is a really interesting thing for Sony to do, in my opinion. This is very much against what Xbox is doing with their games. Like, hey, yeah, all of our Xbox One games, you got them. They're transferred over. This is I don't know. I saw some people defending this, but I think that's more of a console war kind of thing. Yeah, this just doesn't make sense to me. Like this
Especially for a
is the
game
same thing
that's
with
not that
Control
old.
that we complain about. Like,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And again, it's a game that's not even that old. Like if we were talking about a 6-year-old game, then yeah, sure, I get it. Like, you can't port that save data or whatever. Like, it's way outdated. Yada yada yada.
Yeah, we're talking
Whatever
about
your
a
reasoning
2-year-old
is.
game.
Yeah, and even at that, like, from what I've heard, Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man game that's launching, uses a lot of the assets from the first Spider-Man game, like the city and stuff. So a lot of the content's ported over for this 1.5 game. It's not even a full-blooded sequel. Not to say that it's going to be bad or anything. I'm sure the game's going to be fine, but for them to have weird limiters like this, it's just very strange. And also, one of the more interesting things, I saw an interaction on Twitter with Insomniac, with somebody who had bought like a bundle from the PlayStation Store that included the PS5 and Miles Morales. The bundle only came with the basic copy of
Yeah, it
Miles
doesn't
Morales.
come with the
It doesn't
ultimate.
exactly. It doesn't come with that extra edition, right? So their question was like, what about us? What about the people that don't have an option to get it, even though we would not be opposed to getting it? And Insomniac, I wish I could find that tweet, but Insomniac said something to the effect of, "We've thought about that. We're working on it. We're going to have an answer for you in the future." And for this news now to come out and basically say that, nope, there's no other upgrade path. Like, you either do this or you get nothing. Go fuck yourself. Like, it sucks. It's not great. I totally agree. It's just like the Control thing, and it just doesn't feel good, and especially when you talk about a company like Microsoft, who's put so much time and effort into making this transition into the new consoles so fucking easy for their player base. It is bonkers to me that Sony keeps letting shit like this happen.
Yeah,
Sony,
especially with
Sony
Spider-Man.
specifically.
Like one of
Yeah,
their
right, yeah, one
what
of
was
their
it? Their
huge
best-selling game
properties.
until Last of Us came out. Like that
Yeah.
is like, you want more people playing this. You want to incentivize. Oh yeah, hey, you got this game? Play it again. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, and even if they said something to the effect of like, "Hey, we're working on it. It's going to take some extra time. You're not going to be able to do this stuff immediately, so on and so forth," then I would maybe be a little more understanding to that. But it's just it's not a good answer for this. I'm digging through, if you want to fill through time, maybe to pick up a couple of these news stories. I'm gonna try to find that Insomniac tweet because
Okay.
I want to read what it says.
Yeah, I guess I'll just move on to the next one while you do that, because the Xbox Series X 1 TB additional storage was revealed today. It's that thing that they've been working with Seagate It is going to cost $219.99. I don't really know much about the hardware side of things, but this is pretty much just a 1 terabyte SSD, just extended storage that you can add onto it. It's going to have, this will work with all the enhancements, the fast load times, and everything, not your basic hard drive that you just plug into your console. So yeah, this is going to be over $200 at launch. I think we talked a bit in the past about how this is this price was leaked and we were hoping it wasn't this, but it had come out. After doing some digging around, I saw a lot of people saying that this is pretty standard for what this is giving you at this point. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Still disappointing. I would definitely recommend waiting on buying this if you're in the market. It's definitely gonna drop down in price at some point. We saw the same thing with external hard drives where they were costing about $200+ at the beginning of this console generation. So yeah, my advice, definitely wait at least for like a bigger, like only 1 terabyte for over $200. That's definitely not worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, you had mentioned that some people had said that it's pretty in line with the market prices. I can totally confirm that.
Okay.
It's right around what you would expect to pay for a 1 terabyte NVMe drive. M.2 form factor. I think currently I just checked the market a little bit ago, and like the middle of the road ones, not the highest spec or the lowest spec, those ones are sitting right around like 180 or so. And it's important to remember that this obviously is proprietary technology, and it's an external form factor too. So like, it's not something that you're just throwing on board. It has to have its own packaging and case, and interface and everything like that. So yeah, it's right about what it should cost. But I totally agree. I think that the price on this comes down. This is very, very expensive option for expandable storage. But as it becomes more of the norm, and they're able to produce more and bring production costs down, and like NAND memory starts coming down again, then this will be under $200 in no time, and to a much more reasonable territory of cost. And I think the important thing to remember here is that your internal storage on your Series X or Series S will only be necessary for next gen games. Like, the only thing that has to be on there is your next gen video game. So if you want to play, the next gen version of Call of Duty or Halo Infinite or whatever it is, that will have to be on there. But for Xbox One games, ones that don't have enhancements or that you don't care about the enhancements, you just put that on a regular, hard drive that you have sitting around with your current console.
The hard drive that you already have
on here. Exactly.
Just unplug and plug it in.
Yeah, just pop it in there, which is super cool. So while it's expensive, it's not necessary as of right now. And they've already said that, games are going to be smaller as we move into the new generation, as SSDs make it so they don't have to copy the same information multiple times and have it spaced out in different areas.
Not only that, there's going to be a lot more games where you can choose what parts of the game you have downloaded.
Yes.
So we saw this with Modern Warfare, where you can choose to have the campaign, Spec Ops, or multiplayer downloaded at any time. And I think going forward, I think that's going to be the norm for any game with multiple modes. So that will help.
Yeah, it's, developers are getting more used to it. I think they're going to be more space conscious as we move forward. So, it's everybody's kind of getting up in arms on it. I don't think it's as big of a concern at the current moment. So
no, I'm in the same boat. I'm worried to see if the sizes are actually smaller, but I mean, that's just going to come with time. Did you find anything on what you were?
So I did. Scrolling through Insomniac's post here, I found somebody that said, so if I have the standard launch edition of Miles Morales on PS5, I can upgrade it to get the remaster of the original. If so, does that mean I have to pay an extra $20 to get the remaster as well? They say yes, you can upgrade from the in-game menu for $20 to download the Spider-Man remaster. So it sounds like there's an upgrade path. If you have the basic edition, you can spend the extra money to upgrade and get that Ultimate Edition regardless. Still not a great answer. I don't think that it does what we want it to.
Yeah.
And the other annoying thing is that you have to have Miles Morales installed and able to install Spider-Man Remastered, which when you again talk about such a limited hard drive space, it's just not a good answer for this kind of stuff. So, um, yeah, it's weird. It's a strange situation. It sounds like pretty much you're gonna be boned no matter what you do, which is very upsetting and very frustrating. And I was just really hoping for a better answer on this.
Yeah.
I'm just skimming through some of these other things. Okay, somebody said, if I'm looking to get Spider-Man Miles Morales on PS4 and PS5 and want Spider-Man PS5 Remaster, what are my options? And they said, buy the PS4 Standard Edition, digitally or physically. If you go with the disc, you need a PS5 with a disc drive. To play Miles on PS5, either download digital copy on same PlayStation account or put it in the disc. It'll download the PS5 version. So, okay, they're letting you put in the PS4 copy and getting the PS5 version for free, which is cool, I guess. But that still makes this remaster situation strange. It doesn't.
Yeah. It's just odd.
Yeah, it's weird, and I really hope that they figure this stuff out moving forward and have some better answers for players. Last thing we got here, we got one last quick news piece. I didn't read much on this, but I saw the headline: Yakuza. They want to make a movie of it. Yakuza, the video game,
making a
wants to
movie
do
of it.
some kind of movie. So they confirmed that they are making a movie.
Yeah.
Or
are you a
at least they
Yakuza fan?
intend to make. No, not really.
Me either. I've never really given it much of a try, but there are there are people that very much love this series. So awesome for them. I've got nothing else to say about this. Hey, maybe it's as good as the Sonic movie.
Do you think this movie ever sees the light of day, though?
I actually think this has a better chance of coming out than most video game movies. I
suppose with it also coming from Sega and them seeing the success of the Sonic movie.
I think this is something that they could really push forward. It's going to be... Yakuza is already a weird game, so it's going to be a weird movie. So, I don't know. Regardless, I hope it comes out. I hope it's great, even though I have no history with the game myself. More video game movies that are better than what we've seen in the past. I'm down for that.
I just want some of these video game movies to ever see the light of day. You know, like, how long have we been waiting on the Uncharted movie?
We did get an update on that.
Principal photography.
We got an
right,
update on
but
it.
you know, it's been in flux for how long?
Yeah.
Not to mention the Halo movie and the series that was announced
And the
years
BioShock
ago.
movie. Yeah.
Right. You know, so
Yeah.
I'm always incredibly skeptical when they say that there's a
me
video
too.
game property attached to some kind of movie. So
Yeah. I hope it's awesome though.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You know.
That's all we've got for this week, but you want to play some 20 questions?
Sure.
I'm kind of feeling it. Joel doesn't like it when there's only two people playing 20 questions. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I want to play some 20 questions. So I got a game for you if you want to start.
Sure.
And I'll give you a hint since it's only the two of us. It will come after January 1st, 2000, just to keep things fair.
Okay, so it's modern.
Yeah.
Is it a console exclusive?
No.
Is it a shooter?
No.
Is it a fighting game?
No.
Is it a racing game?
There's racing in it. I'll give you that.
Okay, so there's racing in it. Is it an open world video game?
No.
Okay. Is it before 2010?
Yes.
Okay. Is it part of a franchise?
Yes.
Okay. So when it's part of a franchise, it has some racing in it. It's not an open world game. Was it on the Xbox 360?
Yes.
Okay. On the 360, has some racing in it. And it wasn't an open world game. Did it have a multiplayer component?
Yes.
Okay. So, sorry, I'm just trying to keep track of the stuff I've already asked. Let me jot a few notes here.
It's all good.
Player component 60 10 racing. So when you said there's racing in it, would you say it's driving or is it racing? Just to clarify.
And it's not driving.
Okay, so it's specifically racing. Okay, but not necessarily with motor vehicles and stuff. That helps.
Although there is one time trial mode in it that has a car, but it's very much just thrown in there. Not
If it's Sonic 2006, we're gonna have a fucking problem.
I don't think that game has a car in it, does it?
I know it's got people.
It's got people, but they don't race, and it doesn't have multiplayer. I know because I sadly played it.
This is where it starts getting tough because I don't want to waste questions to narrow it down.
We need background music.
Oh yeah, like a nice Jeopardy or like royalty-free music, so we don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, or just get someone.
If you're
to make
listening
us
at
some
home,
music.
just make your own royalty-free music. Just hum something.
If you're listening at home and you know how to make some iconic or not iconic, what's the word I'm looking for? New music that we can buy from you. Hit us up.
Okay. Okay, so it's got a multiplayer component. It was on the 360. It's prior to 2010. There was racing in some way, shape, or form. It's part of a franchise. Was it popular?
Yeah. 10.
So it was popular. 10. Gosh, really stretching my knowledge here. Was console its primary platform?
Yes.
Okay. Primary platform. Is it strictly a video game property, or is it adapted from like some other property, like movies or media, comics?
What do you mean?
So, like for instance, Star Wars Pod Racer, right? Like Star Wars.
Oh,
Pod
okay.
Racer
Did it start out as something else?
Yes.
No.
Or is it widely accepted as something other than a video game franchise?
This is a video game franchise.
It's a video game as video
It was
game. Okay.
developed as a video game franchise.
So what you're telling me is there is other stuff.
I don't know. Do you want to use a question?
Is there other media
Yes.
involved? Okay. Thinking, man. Thinking. Is it action heavy?
Yeah.
Action heavy. So you're give me another hint at 15 since
Okay. Yeah, I'll give
playing
you one.
solo here. Action heavy. Boy. Is there one central main character?
Uh, I'll kind of give you two here. Yes, but you play as others.
Okay.
All right, and then that's 15. So the hint is this game did not originally release on the 360.
Oh shit.
Feel like that could help you a bit.
Did not originally release on the 360. Was this so being on the 360? Was it the version that's on the 360? Is it like a remake,
A remaster.
remaster?
Yep,
Okay.
that's 16.
For the original, it also came after 2000. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, this is hard.
I'll give you another hint at 18. You're
Okay.
at 16 right now.
Ah, there goes that idea. I had an idea, and then I realized that that was a reboot, not a remaster. Is it an anime game?
No.
Is it like a animated visual? I mean,
Oh.
like non-realistic.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So it's non-realistic. Okay.
Yeah. That's 17.
And is it the first one in the series?
No. All right. That's 18. Next hint is We have talked about this franchise multiple times this podcast.
Fuck. Shit. You're gonna really do that to me? Okay.
I'll even give you a bonus here. You've already mentioned this franchise in this section.
Shut the fuck up. What have I said? What have I said? I'm gonna go back over the waveform of my audio. I'm gonna learn to read waveform. Oh, shit. Okay, all right. I'm gonna retrace my steps here and thoughts. It's Remake 1, 2000s remaster for the console. Can't be that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, hang on. I've got an idea. Okay, so I've got what, 2 questions left?
1 question and a guess.
1 question and a guess. Okay. All right, I got something brewing here. That doesn't make any sense. Is it a Bethesda game?
Wow, that's a stretch. No.
Okay, all right. So that narrows that out. Okay, so guess time?
Yep, guess time.
All right, so just a recap here before I take my final guess. It has a multiplayer component.
Yep.
It was on the 360, but not console exclusive. There is racing in it. It's prior to 2010. It's a remaster of a game that came after 2000. Console is its primary platform. It was popular. It's got other media, right?
The franchise has other media, yeah.
Right. Man, normally I am so good at these. I am going to guess. Is it? Did you say there was no cars in it earlier?
It has one time trial mode that has cars, but that's not like the racing thing.
Trial mode that has cars. Fuck, man. All right, I'm just gonna send it. I'm gonna put something out there.
All right,
and
let's
just,
hear it.
Call it good. Is it? I don't even feel comfortable with this. I know this isn't it. Is it Fable?
What cars are in Fable?
Listen. I couldn't figure that out either. But listen. It launched after 2000. Its remaster was on the 360. That's a console exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What
Okay.
is it? All right.
All
Tell
right.
me.
Originally,
Give me a hint before you do it. Give me a real good hint.
I don't know. I don't even know what
Fuck.
hint I could
Okay.
give you without giving it away now. Um, yeah, originally releasing in 2001 for the Sega Dreamcast, before
Oh,
being ported to the Nintendo GameCube, and then ported to the Xbox 360 later. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle.
Jesus Christ. I was even thinking, I was like, man, it's a fucking Sonic game. It has to be a Sonic game.
Yeah.
And then I just blanked on every Sonic, and I heard you singing the song.
Yeah, I
Okay.
even was singing the song.
But I just figured you were just being yourself because your mind is a nonstop loop of Sonic music.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Yeah, so there is a multiplayer mode in the GameCube and 360 versions of this. It's where it got its battle name from, where you can play as Sonic, Shadow, Metal Sonic, and some other people, and you race through the levels together. So that's where that came from. But there's also a time trial mode where you're in a car, which sucks. So I was like,
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know there was a car mode in it
yeah,
at all. That's one
yeah,
of my favorite games, man.
yeah. It's not great. Yeah, I recently started playing this again because I went through Sonic Adventure 1 and played through that again. And yeah, man, I really enjoy those games, but they definitely have their issues.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They even had their issues back
Oh,
then.
yeah, yeah, they weren't
You know.
masterpieces by any means, but man, I love Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
And
man.
when you
I
said
hope that,
Sonic 06, I was like, ooh, he's close.
oh man. Well, I
That
heard
was
you pause there. I should have picked up more on that. That's on me. Do you? So I guess in closing here, do you think there's any truth? Or for those that don't know, there's a big rumor right now that Microsoft is looking to buy Sega.
yeah.
Do you put any stock in that?
No, not yet, at least. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't think so. I think Sega have to be doing well enough to maintain their own thing. But who knows with 2020? I thought Bethesda was doing fine even with their struggles, and they got bought out. So, it's
true.
up in the air. They've got there's a Japanese thing coming up, and they already said there was not going to be any announcements coming from that. That's where I think a lot of people were like putting their thing. And the Japanese market is really where Microsoft struggles, and that they're really looking to get more of a market in. You saw that with Phantasy Star Online 2, which is a Sega property. So I don't know. There's potential, I guess, but I just don't see it.
Would be a huge get.
It
Would be
pretty
you know,
big.
this is the first that event you were talking about was Tokyo Game Show. This is the
Yeah.
first Tokyo Game Show they've been to in near a decade. It's been a very long time since they've appropriately had a presence in that market. So
I
should be
definitely
interesting
see
to see.
Microsoft acquiring a Japanese studio in the future. I just don't think it's Sega.
Don't think it'll be them. Well, technically with Tango, they now own a Japanese studio. So
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
that's exciting. Well, I think it's safe to say that we never know what is on Papa Phil's shopping list. So
And I'm just
it
excited
could
to
be
see
anything.
whenever it is revealed.
Yeah. So, well, that has been episode 113 of the Pixel Street Podcast. Thanks so much for joining us this week with just John and I. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at The Real Birch. That's Birch like the tree without the I, so BRCH. Come hang out. Love to have you. You can also, don't forget to follow us on our Discord. Join there if you get a chance to. Check out our YouTube channels. We've got some stuff up on there that you definitely don't want to miss. And just be a part of the community. We'd love to have you on one of our community nights. Come out, play with us. We had a blast last time, and we're probably going to start talking about playing in the next one here real soon. So if you have an idea on one that you would love to see, or maybe there's a game that you'd like to get you and your friends together and play with us, let us know on Twitter. That would be awesome. So
Maybe a
that's where
recently
you can
gone
find
free
me.
to play game.
Yeah. There you go. Rocket League.
Yeah,
That's where
you're
you can
picking up
find
what
me.
I'm
That's where
laying
you can
down.
find the other stuff. John, where can the good people find you if they want to tell you they also want to play Rocket League?
On Twitter, I am at Revix Shadows. You can go there and see links to my most recent big writings. I haven't posted there about any of my writings recently, but we've also been streaming a bit more. Yeah, just hit us up on our Discord. Let's have some fun, man.
Absolutely. Let's have some fun indeed. It's exactly Phil's catchphrase. Phil Spencer's catchphrase before he
Absolutely.
buys everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have some fun. And
Here's $7.5 billion.
yeah, let's make it rain.
I will
Yeah.
definitely sell
So,
out to Microsoft if they want to buy us. By the way.
oh man, I would sell to Phil for nothing. He could. I just want him to be my dad.
Right?
Like that's all I want in life. So
Except
thanks so
me.
much for joining. Thanks for being here. We're gonna get out of here. That has been episode 113. Come follow us. Come join us. You have yourself a beautiful day.
Bye.